You are listening to the Estheticians or More podcast with Brittany Hageman, episode number 192. Do you want to double your business in 1 year? Are you an esthetician solo business owner that is very, very tired because you are working for every single dollar that you earn? Are you making between $5,000 and $7,000 a month consistently in your esthetician business? And the only way that you can see that you can make more money is to add more hours? Is the money going out of your business just as fast as it's coming in? Do you feel like you're on the verge of burnout? Do you not understand how other estheticians can actually make a profit? If you can say yes to any of these questions, I can help you. In my one-to-one 6-month individualized coaching program, I will teach you to double your business in 1 year. I combine proven strategies and business systems along with mindset coaching to teach you how to change the systems in your business that aren't making you money. My clients that have incorporated all of these systems into their business consistently have seen phenomenal results. If you're interested in working with me, use the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to meet you. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be back with you today. I am talking about networking locally and working with businesses and or people in your area to let people know about your business. This was a request. I did not ask me anything, but tell me what you want on the podcast. This was a request. So I'm not going to tell you like everything. This is not what I would, this is like a mini of what I would talk about with a client. I would do a lot more in detail. I'm going to give you some examples of what I would do right now in my current town and how that differs from the town I lived in before, because they're very different towns. Hopefully, this can give you some ideas and help you think about networking in a different way. So the town that I lived in California before we moved to Georgia, this is not when I lived in San Diego. This is when I lived in the Bay Area. I lived in a town called Walnut Creek, which is in Northern California near San Francisco. And I'm laughing because people in Walnut Creek feel very, like, they feel like it's a nice area to live, okay? It's nice. But people there are very serious about how they think it's so nice to live. And I grew up there, so I can laugh and like make fun of it because I'm like, it's not that great. It's not that great in my opinion, but I think whatever. That's neither here nor there. But there is like almost a wannabe Beverly Hills-esque vibe there. Like most people have double income. Probably the median income in that town is like $300,000 a year per family. Lots of nannies. Like almost all my friends worked full-time jobs, and lots of vacations, lots of money. Okay, and the downtown area is very nice. There's like so many fancy shops in that area. So many fancy, like nice restaurants. Again, I think that they think they're like bigger than they are. A lot of people from the like surrounding areas know about Walnut Creek because of the downtown, and it's a whole thing. So if I opened a business when I was in Walnut Creek, which I originally had planned to do, but life changed. But that was my original plan. With that vibe of people and what was important to the people in that area was going to dictate how I showed up meeting people and talking about my business. And that would be different than how I would show up here. So I would have done the same things that I did, which is like I joined a book club. I was in the mom Facebook groups, the mom play groups. Like I would take my daughter to a lot of those things. Being like the mom groups help. If I didn't have a kid, there's plenty of other ways. Like you don't have a mom to go to the book club. I immersed myself in the community, getting to know women. That is the first step. That's the first step in any networking, whatever town you live in. Get to know women, groups of women, multiple groups of women in multiple different places. So for me, I joined for a while like a boot camp workout. That was an outdoor one for moms. There was plenty of other classes like that out there. That was just the one I did because I had a baby at the time and you could bring your baby. Um, get involved with multiple groups of women, multiple different groups of women, so they're not the same women. And obviously, as I got to know people, some people obviously were in different same groups, which was great because it strengthens our connection. Because the first time you meet people isn't necessarily like you're gonna hit it off and be best friends. And networking in person is very much like meeting a friend or dating, which is you're not usually going to meet someone and marry them the next week, right? Like there is spending more and more time together. Like it's a slow process of getting to know each other. Of course, sometimes like people hit it off and they go on dates right away and like love at first sight, whatever. But the same thing with friendships, right? Sometimes people make friends and like they're instantly best friends. But most of the time, most of the friendships and relationships that I have made are slower. They're more organic, they're more natural. So, spending time on these relationships, continuing to go to these events. And this was in 2021, y'all, okay? This was in COVID times, and I still was going out, even virtually, talking to moms on groups because I was also very lonely. I joined like a breastfeeding group. I joined like so many groups of people was I inserting myself in and just getting to know the people in the group, talking to them about things that we had in common, which most of the time was being a mom. I love my book club because there were a lot of moms in that, but we talked about the book, which was great. Um, would I have joined like a business group? Possibly. Once my business was up and running and I had like a little bit of traction, I would have maybe joined some of the business groups. But the moms is the people that I want to be my client, not necessarily the business bros that go to the business coffees. So, and I know you may be thinking, like, I'm not a mom. No, like, I did this before I had kids when I was like single. Okay. So, this is not a mom specific thing. I just leaned into what I was currently experiencing in my life. I did this when I was single with groups of meeting people. Trust me, this is not a mom only thing. So I would have leaned that way. And let me tell you, I showed up, whatever, my haggard, tired mom self. But if I had opened or was about to open my business, I would have looked like a Walnut Creek mom. And I don't think this is being inauthentic. I think this is selling yourself in the best way. I would have made sure I looked like I was a Walnut Creek mom. How is that different from the way I showed up? I probably would have put some makeup on, made sure my hair was cute, even if it was like for a workout. I would have. There's when you're networking in person or online, you have to show up in a way that's relatable to the people that you are marketing to. That is different for different communities of people. But for that community, I had to look the part. I know that community because I grew up there. It was less that way in San Diego because it's a different vibe. So it's different vibes where you are. But I would have made sure my nails were done, like all the things the moms are into. I wouldn't have like lied and said I'm someone I'm not and do things I'm not comfortable with. But I would have made my most Walnut Creek mom self. Versus here, where I live in a suburb outside of Atlanta. Now, this community is a very small community. The pace of life is slower. The people, I like, and actually like, I tell people, this is one of the things I like about living here, is that people are people here. Like, of course, there's some fancy people that look all fancy, but in my town, and this is not the same for neighboring towns, but in my particular town, the people are not fancy. They just look like normal people. And I actually find that refreshing, especially after living in Walnut Creek. And so I have done the same things that I have done there, meeting people, but I would show up more like my natural self because I like to be fancy. I wish I was like a person who wanted to be fancy every day. But in my current stage of life, that is not the case. I hope I will get there again, honestly. I wouldn't focus so much on being fancy because in most of the women here, being extra fancy would make me stand out and not in a way that's relatable to them, right? I want to blend in, for lack of a better word, and be similar to them. Now, Walnut Creek, so much business, like so many businesses, like business is a different amount of money. There's way more people. If you go to local businesses to collaborate, it may not stick. I would have still done it for sure, but I would have also known that group runs fast and hard, and there's a good chance people would just tell me no and not care, and it just like not have time or energy for me. And I also know that would have nothing to do with me. That's just the culture of that little city acting like it's San Francisco or whatever, right? The town I'm in now is very community oriented. They want to promote small businesses. They want to have people spend time together. There's a lot of community events here, which is one of the reasons I chose this town, is because I have a small child and whatever. So the way that I would talk, like I would talk to so many businesses here about collaborations, because they too, like there's so many small businesses in my town. There's like, besides the grocery stores, there are very few chains. There are very few big businesses here. There's a couple businesses that like own multiple restaurants, but it's like a local owner. It's not a national owner. And of course, there's like Great Clips and things like that, sure, but there isn't like Cheesecake Factory or things like that. Not to say there's any, I love Cheesecake Factory, but you know what I mean? Like it's, if I went to Cheesecake Factory off asking for collaboration, like that's just not going to work as a national brand. They're just like not interested. Maybe, I don't know. But like the local Italian restaurant may be interested in something. And there are so many like boutique shops in my town, boutique, like boutique clothing shops that target to women that I would want as clients. So I would figure out something with them. I'm not going to like tell you exactly what I would do, because that's more of like I'm brainstorming with my clients, but that is where I would focus so much of my energy. Versus that wasn't a thing as much in Walnut Creek. And not to say that strategy doesn't work, but it works differently in different areas. And in Walnut Creek, I would have been at every single meetup, mom meetup, every single anything that I was interested in meetup. Like there was this community garden that would have events a lot. I would be at that all the time. In the time I wasn't working, I would be schlepping my daughter everywhere to go to meet new people, knowing that the first couple times I meet people, it's just going to be casual, happy conversation. They may ask me what I'm doing. I will tell them. If there's interest, we keep going. If not, I let it go. That is what I would be doing consistently, knowing that I would get bites, for lack of a better word, where they would be interested in coming in and getting a service from me. And then they would tell their friends, and I would really work on those connections with those people that were like, oh, I do have acne or whatever. And they do actually come in and make sure that that's a fantastic appointment. We have a great connection. They know my referral program, and they refer me to all of their friends. And that's where I would be spending a lot of time with my in-person marketing and networking. Now, here, and also where I live now, there's a lot less money. People have money. It's not a poor community, but the average household income is not $300,000. Okay, maybe it's, I don't know. I'm guessing, so please don't quote. If I had to guess, it's probably like 150, maybe a little higher. a lot of moms are stay-at-home moms. A lot of families are single household. So, which is like, the South, it's just a different community. And so, what are those women worrying about? It's the same thing I'm doing. Let's say I have my acne business, it's the same business. But the way I show up in both of those situations reflects what that person, that client, is thinking and wanting. And Walnut Creek, it's like emphasizing the upscale of what I do in acne, and there was like long-term results, and then not having to worry about your acne anymore, and kind of helping that busy mom that doesn't have time to solve their acne because they're working and all these things. What is that person thinking? Versus the mom here who has acne, and her concern probably is cost. So how it's so affordable in a long term, and it's the best deal you're going to get out there, and la 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 la. It's the same thing I'm doing in both, but the way I'm approaching it, the way I'm talking about it, the way I'm talking about it to people is different. And I am approaching it in a way that is relatable to the person I'm talking to. And there's still going to be a lot of trial and error in this. This is not like this will just work. So if you're in one of these towns, just copy and paste it. Like, you still have to figure out what is sticking with people and what isn't. But the only way you do that is from talking to people and seeing if their eyes light up and they're interested, or they're just smiling and nodding and don't really care. And if they're smiling and nodding and they don't really care, it doesn't mean you did anything wrong, or they're not even that they wouldn't be interested. It's, if we go back to, I think 2 episodes ago, of like, okay, why did that go that way? Like from a curiosity standpoint, not from being critical of yourself or them. And like another thing I do here that would have been different and harder to do in Walnut Creek is I've gotten really involved, like at my daughter's preschool, and like on the PTA, and getting to know the other PTA moms, and being a room mom, and getting to know all the parents in my daughter's classroom, and really developing these relationships with people. And none of these people are going to buy from me. None of them are estheticians. So this is genuine connections. But let me tell you that if I opened an esthetician business, I would have clients because of these connections, because of the hours I've spent getting to know people and talking to people and developing these relationships, and the time I put in. That is why when I opened my business in San Diego, I had a lot of clients, because I already had connections with people. So those people were like, yeah, I'll come. Yeah, I'll send people. So in both of these examples, you have to look at what kind of place do you live in? What's the vibe? What are people interested in? And where do those people hang out? Are they hanging out at the bars and restaurants? How can you meet them? And I don't have the answer. Even if you're my client, you're like, okay, tell me the answer. These are questions I will be asking you, and you have to think about it, because you live there. I don't live there. How do these people meet people? Because they do. I know for a fact, I know some moms who have lived here longer than me and have so many less friends than me. And I'm not saying that as like, wow, look at me and all my friends. No, they haven't put in the time and the energy to make friends. I know it. They just stick to themselves and their families. When they go out in the world, they may say hi to someone, but they're not actually talking to people. Do you know how many people I talk to at the park that just barely answer my questions and walk away? So many people. So many people. But you know what? So, I've also gotten some really good friends that way. It's both. There's been Mom groups I've gone to, like here in the town I'm in now, where I'm like, oh, I don't like any of these people. And that's okay. I went back again. I tried to meet different people. That's what you have to do. You may go to the same group of people meetups multiple times, and the fourth time you actually meet a couple people you like. That's the same with any habit making friends, dating, things like that. Like there's this, they have these pub crawls in our town. Again, there's so many great events. It's like this free event. You can go from restaurant to restaurant. You can get stamps on your card. You can win prizes. It's like every restaurant has like appetizers and stuff. Well, if my business was in the area, I'd obviously participate in the pub crawl as a business, which would be great. But if it isn't, then I would talk to people at the pub crawl next to me, getting drinks and chat with them. And they may blow me off, and that's fine. And I'll just talk to the next person. And in those kind of events, people are coming together. They like community things, they like supporting the local community. If you're talking to the people at the events like a normal person, and you ask them about themselves and they ask you about yourself, you tell them what you do, there's a high chance that you're going to meet one person who will be interested in your business. People are looking for what you do. Like I put on my stories recently, I want to get either glacial, jet plasma, or a diamond glow facial. And I tell you right now, if I meet someone who's friendly and chatty at the pub crawl that I'm going to this weekend with my husband and our friends, and they're like, oh, I'm an esthetician. I do this really great facial called Glacial. It's amazing. It's great for whatever, aging or whatever their little spiel is. I will be getting their card, following them on Instagram, and booking an appointment because I don't know who to go to in my area. So sold. There are people like me in your city. And again, the place I live in now, so many less people. So many less people. It's a much smaller town. And there are a lot of estheticians here. There are a lot of estheticians in Walnut Creek too. But if you work on using your skills of connection that you have when you have people come in, I don't believe that you don't. When you're out in the world and you try to connect with people, it will work. But you have to know that you're going to talk to someone, they're not going to be interested in talking to you. Nothing to do with even your business. They just don't talk to you. That's okay. We move on. Talk to the next person. And thinking outside the box and thinking about where you are and how people meet people in your area is so important. And how they show up. And being relatable in that space will be key. That's all I have for now. Have a fantastic week.